All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, I did a video similar to this one a while back, but not exactly like this. It's pretty simple. I compared basically the top 15 players that debuted post-merger. And the reason why I didn't bring in players like Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Bob Pettit, even Kareem and Dr. J and Moses Malone, because those guys played in the 70s and also in the ABA, so it's kind of apples and oranges. When you compare, like, how many players did Bill Russell, how many All-NBA opponents in the playoffs did a player like Bill Russell or Will Chamberlain have? It would have been practically every series, because there was only, for a while, especially for Russell, there's only 4 teams in the conference. So you're going to be playing them every time. Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, later on guys like Dave Bing. I mean, you're going to play all NBA players pretty much every series in the 60s and 70s. So it just doesn't pay to even do that. But post-merger is where it gets interesting. And I think most of you know that there was only a first and second team All-NBA up until through 1988. But once they started expansion, they included a third team. So for some of these guys, they're not going to have, all of them through their whole career. Like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, I mean, most of their careers, there was only 2 teams. So you got to consider that. Olajuwon, he would have went through, I think, 4 seasons. Same with Jordan, where there was no third team. The rest of the guys seemed, weren't affected. But anyway, so Magic Johnson in 40 playoff series, he faced a total of 29 All-NBA opponents. That's a percentage of 72.5% of the time. And that's a little low. But again, like I said, you need to consider that there was only a first and a second team, for the first 9 years of his career. Same with Larry Bird. His record against a playoff opponent that had an All-NBA player was 17-7. Larry Bird, in his 33 playoff series, faced 25 All-NBA players, 75.75% of the time, with a record of 14-6. So that's a good record. Akeem Olajuwon, 29 series, he faced 29 All-NBA players. So that's 100% of the time he played at least one All-NBA player. His record was 8-9. We know the story about Olajuwon, about, the lack of help and all that. But still, 8-9, considering, really isn't that bad. Michael Jordan, in his 37 playoff series, he played against 34 All-NBA players in the playoffs. That's a 91.9% of the time, which is, about middle of the pack. 21-5 record. There's a couple things that were kind of astonishing, like the 89 Detroit Pistons 63-win team had no All-NBA players. I always found that kind of nuts, but that's what it was. They were more of a collective unit than it was, like one superstar and one star and the rest were role players. No, they had a good, solid team all the way through. Players like Bill Laimbeer, 4-time All-Star rebound champion. Joe Dumars, perennial all-defensive player. He's in the Hall of Fame. Dennis Rodman, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Got all the rebound titles. You got Isaiah Thomas, of course. Mark Aguirre. He had a few all-star teams. They were pretty stacked, and even guys like James Edwards, Vinnie Johnson, Rick Mahorn, John Sally had a really good deep bench. But anyway, so Jordan's record is 21-5 against all NBA players. So that's a great record. I mean, in fact, that I believe is the best record. The winning percentage is 807. So 80.7% of his games he won. That's 4 out of 5 when he played an All-NBA player. That's really good. That's the best on this list. That is GOAT-like. That's what I'm talking about. You have to have separators like this. Okay, you can't just be making excuses all the time about, well, there was this, there was that, unless you had a glaring, teammate deficiency like an Akeem Olajuwon. But the problem I always had about the whole LeBron didn't have any help when he was on Cleveland. They won 66 games and 61 games in 09 and 2010. How much help did you need? You were able to win that many games. Olajuwon was never even a 1 seed. He never even won 60 games. But yet he did great things in his career. Shaquille O'Neal played 44 series, 36 All-NBA players. So that's 81.8% of the time. His record was 18-9. So he won 2 out of every 3 series when he played an All-NBA player, at least one. Kobe Bryant, in his 43 playoff series, played 44 All-NBA players. So that's actually about 102% of the time. So that's more than 1 per series. His record is 22-9 with a 709 winning percentage. Any of these guys that are up over 700, like Magic Johnson is 708, Larry Bird is 700, Jordan is 807, Kobe's 709. Those are good records. Okay, then you have Tim Duncan, 48 series against 55 All-NBA players. So he had several that had multiple All-NBA players on it, 7 to be exact. That's 114% of the time, meaning he had really tough competition. His record was 26-13. That's a 667 winning percentage, same as Shaq. LeBron James, 54 playoff series, 47 All-NBAs, for that's 87% of the time. That's less than Jordan. That's less than Kobe. It is more than Shaq, more than Bird and Magic. But again, they didn't have a third-team All-NBA, or else I would imagine that they would have been right around 80% of the time, what have you. LeBron's record was 24-12 for a 667 winning percentage. Kevin Durant was 31 series played, 29 times he was first team All-NBA. Played against teams that first team All-NBA. His record is 14-10, but only a 58.3% or .583 winning percentage. Not great. Steph Curry, he had a good one in his 29 series, 29 All-NBA players. That's 100% of the time with a record of 19-5, a really good record. But I put an asterisk by it because one of the series was against Kawhi Leonard, who played 3/4 of a game. Another one was against, James Harden in Houston when they were up 3-2, but then Chris Paul went down. So there's another one right there. I think there was a couple other ones as well where the player was either hobbled or, got hurt halfway through the series or what have you. There's one of them, 2015 finals. Kyrie Irving was third team All-NBA that year. Well, he played 1 game. So there's another one that he had like 6 or 7 of these, several of these situations. But his winning percentage was .791. That's the second best on the list. But again, super team with the injuries. I mean, that kind of explains a lot of this stuff. It really does. And not to say Curry wasn't great. People always come at me like, oh, you didn't think Curry was great or he would have won those series anyway. We're never going to know. But he got a lot of breaks when it came to injuries or a good team got upset before they had the chance to play him and they played some lesser team instead. Happened a lot. And then you had Kevin Durant on your team. It was an already really, championship level team. I mean, it just kind of got silly and stupid. Karl Malone, his 38 playoff series, he played 33 All-NBA players. That's an 86.8% of the time. That's, about average. His record was 13-14. So not a great record. That's a .481 winning percentage, which is okay. Kevin Garnett, in his 26 series, played 27 All-NBA players. He had tough competition too. Like Duncan and Kobe, that West was tough in the 2000s. But Garnett, his record in those 27 series was 6-13, meaning he had 8 series where he had to play 2 All NBA players. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Damn it, cat. Yeah. So Karl Malone, or I'm sorry, Kevin Garnett. 103.8% of the time he was playing an All NBA player, and that's really high. In fact, that was third on this list. His record was only 6-13, but again, he was on that Minnesota outpost, with not much real help. Tom Gugliotta, Sam Cassell. I think he had Stephon Marbury for a little bit. He didn't have enough to overtake, the Duncan Spurs or the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. No, not even like Sacramento. He just did not have those kind of players that was going to compete for, even a West championship. He just didn't. And Garnett was great. I think he was every bit as good as Tim Duncan was. Duncan was slightly better at some things. Garnett slightly better at other things. Their game was about the same effective-wise. But Duncan, had way better help. Better coach, better system, the whole thing. David Robinson. Kevin Garnett's winning percentage is .315. Again, what do you expect? When you're a player like a Garnett or an Olajuwon, you just didn't have that kind of help. Here's another guy, David Robinson. His 27 series, he played 29 All-NBA players for 107.4% of the time. So, that's the second highest on this list. His record was 10-10. Now, obviously, before Duncan got there, he really didn't have much help at all. He did have Rodman for a couple years in there, but, that's just how it was. His winning percentage, 50%, which, all things considered, isn't terrible. Giannis Antetokounmpo, in his 15 playoff series, he played against 12 All-NBAs. That's 80% of the time. His record was 6-5, so he only had one where he played multiple All-NBA players. For a winning percentage of .545. Nikola Jokic, in his 14 playoff series, he played against 13 All-NBA players for 92.8%. That's about right in the middle. His record is 6-5, also .545 winning percentage. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Against a team that had a first-team All-NBA player on it. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Magic Johnson, he played against 9 such teams. Never played a team that had, he did. There was actually, he played 10 because the 87 Celtics had McHale and Bird on it. That was the one team that had 2. His record was 6-3. That's a very good record against first-team All-NBA. And I know he had great teammates, all that, absolutely. A winning record at all against first-team All-NBAs is going to be good. Larry Bird played against 14 first-team All-NBAs. It was against 13 different teams. Record of 7-6. I believe Kareem and Magic in '85 were both first-team All-NBAs. Hakeem Olajuwon played against 13 first-team All-NBA players. That's almost as many as Bird. That's more than Magic. His record was 5-5. That's outstanding against first-team All-NBAs. And this is the part that's really outstanding. Against teams that had 2 first-team All-NBA players, Hakeem Olajuwon was 3-0. That was against the 86 Lakers, the 94 Utah Jazz, and the 95 Utah Jazz. 3-0 against teams that had multiple first-team All-NBA players. Yeah, it's like that. Michael Jordan, he played against 14 first-team All-NBA players. There was 13 different teams because I think the 87 Celtics had McHale and Bird. His record, 10-3. That's a great record. That's a phenomenal record. That's a GOAT-like record. That's what I'm talking about. You can't just be, good in these things, great in these things, not very good in these things, terrible in that. No, you have to be very good, if not great, in anything you look up if you're the GOAT. You cannot have struggles, issues, problems, shortcomings. Not if we're talking about the greatest player of all time, when we already have other players who don't have that. That's why I just get so upset about this whole LeBron thing. He has too many deficiencies and shortcomings. Shaquille O'Neal, he played against 18 first-team All-NBA players. His record is 12-5, which is an excellent record. That's really good, actually. Kobe Bryant played against 20 first-team All-NBA players. His record was 12-7. I think there was one team where there was two of them. I can't remember what team that was that had two. It might have been, I don't think it was San Antonio. I'm just not sure who that was. But anyway, 12-7, that's an excellent record. Tim Duncan played against 20. His record was 7-10, meaning there was three teams that had two first-team All-NBAs. That would have been the Lakers each time. I think it was probably in 01, 02, and 03. Anyway, his record is 7-10, a losing record. Not great, but, he did have stiff competition, but even still. LeBron James, he played against 11 first-team All-NBA players. Never played against more than one on a team. His record, 5-6, a losing record against first-team All-NBA players. That is a shortcoming. Just like having a losing record in the finals. You can make any excuse you want. Explain it away any way you want. But these deficiencies and shortcomings are the counter argument to anything about LeBron anywhere near the greatest player. He's just not. He's just not. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant played against 14 first-team All-NBA players. That's three more than LeBron. His record is 9-5. But he was a lot of that he did with, Curry thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that had a lot to do with it. In fact, I think he was 3-0 on Golden State. Or 4-0. 3-0 or 4-0 on Golden State. So that explained a lot of that. Steph Curry, 16 first-team All-NBA players. He was 13-3. But I already said, Kawhi Leonard was one of those where he got hurt and barely played. Really, if you want to take that away, you can and make it 12-3. But also, you add in the Kevin Durant thing and all that. I mean, there are legitimate circumstances around Steph Curry when you look up these kind of things. Karl Malone played against 12 first-team All-NBA players, 7-5. That's excellent. He's got a better record than LeBron James. And I know people, John Stockton, the same guy you guys have been hating on for years, calling him overrated, this and that. Don't call Stockton a great teammate now. Karl Malone had a better record against first-team All-NBA players than LeBron James did. He beat 7 of them. LeBron beat 5 of them. Uninterested in hearing it. Kevin Garnett, 17 first-team All-NBA players. That's a lot. He was 5-10. But again, Kobe and Shaq, a lot of those. David Robinson, in 11 first-team All-NBA players he played, again, 3 times against Kobe and Shaq. He was only 1-7. That's not great. And this one here is kind of mind-blowing. Did you know that Giannis has only ever played 1 first-team All-NBA player? 1. And he's 0-1. I didn't know that. Nikola Jokic has only played against 2, and they were in the same series, 2020 Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. It was Davis and LeBron James. And he lost, so he's 0-1 also. So that means Giannis and Nikola Jokic have never beaten a first-team All-NBA player in the playoffs. It's never happened. And I just remembered Giannis's one loss was against Jason Tatum. That he was first-team All-NBA that year. So anyway, I find this stuff fascinating. I find it great. And this is just another thing when one of your friends, one of your buddies talking about, LeBron, he's the best. Just say, well, he played against 11 first-team All-NBA players. He's 5-6, a losing record. Practically everybody else on this list has a winning record, with the exception of Duncan. But again, he had to play 3 of those series against 2 first-team All-NBA players, Kobe and Shaq. David Robinson had a losing record, and Kevin Garnett. Now, Giannis and Jokic, they're only halfway through their careers. I mean, you can mention that, but it's, they're going to play more, I guarantee it. And one last little nugget of information that I found very interesting is in LeBron James's often talked about, often heralded 10 conference finals. 10. How many first-team All-NBA players do you think he played? One. One in 10 conference finals. Dwight Howard in 2009, and he lost. Crazy. That's just nuts to me. Never beat a first-team All-NBA player in the conference finals. Only played one and lost it. So, anyway, that's all I got for this video. As always, thanks you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do already. I try to give daily content. I've said this before. I'm pretty active in the comments and stuff. Stay respectful. You can give counter arguments all day long. No problem at all. Just stay respectful. No name calling. Don't tell me I'm delusional or, I'm a loser. I'm just going to block you. There's no need for that. You know what I mean? Don't be a troll. Trolls are just idiots. I always look at them as people that have nothing better going on in their life. And that's why they do the things they do. You know what I mean? That's what I think is a loser, a troll. But a counter argument's fine. But if you're going to start, name calling and all that kind of stuff, gone immediately. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. And thanks for watching. Until next time.